I've been thinking recently, and I noticed, I don't know if it's me, but I noticed like people that I know have been dying recently. I don't know if it's because we are growing up and I'm growing, or because the situation of things in this country is just bad. I don't really know. But basically, many people that I know, are actually gone, and I've been thinking about it. Like, am I really living my best life? Am I getting the best out of my life? Genuinely, if I'm being honest with myself. And it's in that thought that I want to share three things that I think we need to get the best out of life from. Three things to get your best out of life and to live your best life. And these things are actually independent of whether you're a religious person or not. In fact, even if you're a religious person, this thing applies to you. If you're not a religious person, it still works. Just they are neutral life principles that I think will work for everybody. These three things. Well, before we talk about the three things, we need to understand that life itself is in parts, it's in phases. In fact, your life with respect to this video they're watching now is in phases. There was the first phase, which was the time when you clicked on the video to watch it. And that phase is now in the past. So we have a past phase. Then we have the present phase, which is now that I'm pointing at the camera, I'm pointing to you. That's the present phase. And then we have the future phase of your life with respect to you watching this video currently. And that's going to be towards the end of this video, if you eventually stay at the end. If you watch the video up onto the end. So you see how your life with respect to watching this video currently now is in phases. The time you clicked, now, and later. And in that same sense, we have three phases, sort of, for our life, generally, because it's the time we are born, and there's the time we die. These are the two extremes. Then in between the time we are born and the time we die, there's the current life we're living now, which is the present life. And you need to understand that life is in phases to be able to get the best out of all the phases of life. Now, what are these three things that you need to get the best out of life, to live your best life? The first thing you need is to have a spirit and an attitude of gratitude. You need to be grateful. Learn to appreciate your life. Now, the thing is, I know when we talk about gratitude, people just think, oh, my life is not going the way I want. I don't have this, I don't have that. I'm not rich. You start thinking about all the things that your life can be, and we tend to lose focus on the things that we ought to be grateful for, and we focus on other things that we don't have. But if you actually look at your life now, there are a lot of things you have to be grateful for. You're not in the hospital, most likely. You had food to eat yesterday. You had food to eat today. You've had water to drink. You're wearing clothes. You are not, for instance, you're probably not in the war zone. Some people are in Gaza, for instance, and different parts of the world where wars are. Ukraine, they can't even sleep. Peace of mind. And so, if you actually look, you see that there are a lot of things to be grateful for. Personally, I have a lot of things to be grateful for, frankly, because I remember when I was a young boy, my teacher once wrote in my report card here. Teacher wrote, "Small boy, sit up with your life." And when I look at my life now, I have a lot of things to be grateful for. I'm not really where I want to be, but looking at my life now, frankly, there are so many things I have to appreciate and just be happy for, because I'm not where I used to be, and there are successes I've had, little successes, which I'm frankly very grateful for. And that's the first thing you need to understand about living your best life. Learn to appreciate your little blessings. Count this, you need to count your blessings. Count those. If you actually look at the bright side of things, learn to look at the bright side of things. And if you actually learn to look at the bright side of things, you realize that truly, even though things may not be as perfect as you want them to be now, you actually have things to be grateful for. So that's the first step to having the best life. Gratitude. The next thing you need to having the best life is to have hope. And the hope is what you need for the future. The reason why all of us are waking up today and we are doing what we are doing is because we all aspire to a future, one way or the other. We all have something in our mind that we are going to get there. We want to get this. We want to be like this, or we are hoping for this day to come where things will be better. Even as a country, We always have this hope that one day it will better. You know, of course, nowadays you don't have that hope again because of the way things are always going bad in this country. May God deliver us. I'm never a religious person, but may God deliver us still. Now, you need that hope. A man without hope is as good as a dead man. Honestly, if you don't have hope, you're as good as a dead man. Because once you take the hope of someone, you've basically killed that person. If somebody doesn't aspire to something, life becomes tasteless, colorless, you know. And so, dream about a better future. You need to always picture yourself having a better place compared to where you are. And that alone eventually places you in a position to get the best out of your life, you know. And so, remember I said the first you need is to be grateful. That doesn't mean you just neglect all the good things you have now. You have to be grateful. That's the first step. The now is the most important part of life. Then you have to hope for a better day. And I don't think that should be hard because most of us have different hopes. We all have this hope, maybe that one day we'll be very rich, things will be all right, we'll have a good family, probably like a good wife, good children, you know, we'll have a perfect job, everything will be all right. That's important, to have hope, because you need to have something that you aspire to. Then the last thing you need to get the best out of life is to learn. Learn from the past. See, life is the best teacher, actually. And they say experience is the best teacher. But if you actually think about it, it's the experiences we get from life that teaches us what we need. And that's why somehow we tend to attribute wisdom to those people that are elderly because we just assume that they've lived long, they've had so much experiences, and they are now exposed to a lot. To be wise, you need to learn from your life. And now look at your life. Where are the things you fell short in? What were the mistakes you made in your life? Where can you improve from the things that happened in the past? That is important. So you see, the present is important. You need to have gratitude. You need to be grateful for where you are currently because, frankly speaking, you have a lot of things to be grateful for. Then you need to aspire for a better life in the future. Genuinely, sit down and write out your plans, write out your goals, where you want to be. Have a mental picture of where you're headed to. The mental picture of where I'm headed to scares me and it frightens me. And I think that's how it should be for everybody because you need something that just so amazing, that pulls you to yourself. Then, lastly, you need to learn. Learn from your past. I actually keep a diary. I'm not very consistent recently, but the reason I've not been actively posting is because I've been working on my diary for the past few weeks, trying to update my diary because I noticed a lot of lapses, different places. I was trying to update the days, and some days I missed it. I was trying to recollect what happened that day and add one or two things. And so I've been very busy. But learn from life. Life is the best teacher. And I think keeping a diary or journal, I don't think everybody should do that. Not everybody may want to do that, but it's like, for me, it's like taking down notes from life because as life is teaching me, I take down notes and I try to figure out what my mistakes were per time and I try to learn lessons from that. And with these three things, I think you can live your best life ever. Now, there's something I need to add. You need to be grateful for the present, but the present is the most important part of life because you cannot guarantee, you're not assured or guarantee, you don't have the guarantee that you eventually see tomorrow. And the past is already gone. You have no control over the past. The present is important. I watched Kung Fu Panda and I liked what Master Gui said. He said, yesterday is history. Tomorrow is a mystery. And today is a gift. Or now is a gift. That's why it's called present. It's called the present. And that's weighty. Focus on today. Be grateful for today. Have hope for tomorrow. And take actions from the mistakes, from the lessons you've learned from the past. Take those actions now, and you have your best life. And this works for everybody, whether you're religious or not. Because even religious people, they aspire for a better afterlife. They aspire to, for whatever life, can be better in the future. And you have to also be grateful for today and take the right steps now. Don't forget, those are the three things I think we need to work on to have the best for our life. If you like this video, please hit the like button. And if you watch the video up to this point, I want you to take actions now. And I want you to start by, you can write act now in the comment section. Just comment act now on the comment section. And let's start taking active steps now to get the life that we aspire for with the lessons we've learned from our past. See you at the top.